Hi, welcome to learnhowtogarden.com. In today's film we're going to be talking about sowing and growing lettuce. If you're not already subscribed to me at Learn How to Garden, there's a link directly above me right now. Click that link and input your email address. It means you get access to much longer, more technical films than on YouTube. You get access to all the written posts. You get a free monthly newsletter that in itself is worth the sort of quick click. And also you get to see about all of the courses we learn how to garden and what the gardening club is all about and why that is so special. A couple of weeks after your lettuce is sown, it will germinate and it will grow quite quickly. And what we have here is one of our small seed trays with lettuce that's slightly too long. This is quite common because we have very low light levels, but with lettuce we can actually sort of use that to our advantage, because we now need to prick these out, which means take them out of the actual soil they're growing in and pop them on into the next stage. We can either do that in a standard seed tray, or we could use just a module seed tray, which I prefer. And these modules are deep enough that when we prick out the lettuce, we'll be able to drop them deeper into the module than they are at the moment. My reason for preferring modules is quite simple. Once we've actually potted on our lettuce, it gives them a space in which to grow a really good root ball before we move them on. And what we need is some decent potting compost. And potting compost is designed to have the right amount of nutrients that will allow the young seedlings to grow. So we just fill either the modules or a seed tray, or you could use individual pots if you're only doing a few, with compost. Remember not to over pot. That means don't give the seedlings too much space, because if you do, what actually happens is you get a real slump around the seedlings of wet, cold compost. And one of the biggest problems with most seedlings is a problem called damping off. And damping off is when the seedlings are attacked, normally just before they emerge, or just after they emerge, or just after they're potted on. They're attacked by pathogens which enter, like Phytophthora, types of Phytophthora, will enter the seedling, cause a white mould, and the seedling will collapse and die. And the way we always used to get around that was by using this. This is Chesant Compound. It's a copper sulfate drench, and for years and years that was allowed, a bit like Bordeaux mixture, but now as amateur gardeners we don't have access to it, and we don't have access to the drenches that they use in commercial nurseries. But there are one or two things we can do. Most damping off is caused by wet, cool conditions. So by taking your modules and we pop the modules up and down, bang them up and down a few times to settle the compost, but not to get rid of all the air out of the compost. You don't want to push it with your fingers, because that will create no air spaces in the compost at all. Once you've got the compost in the tray, you need a pricker. Now that's a standard pricker, fantastic for sowing seeds. You can actually use it for pricking out your seedlings, but if you can get hold of one that's got a little spoon end on it and a prick at the other end, it's much better. And then it's a matter of going in and easing out these seedlings with a decent root ball on if you can, and then burying that in your module so that it's actually much deeper in the module than it was in the seed tray. And we're going to go along and pot on these lettuce. And when we've potted them on, I'm going to share with you a way of stopping one of the commonest problems of seedlings, which is something called damping off. Damping off is a disease like Phytophthora, which occurs either to newly germinated seeds or seedlings at the potting on stage, and it's one of the commonest causes of seedling failure. If you're watching this on YouTube, the longer, more technical film appears at learnhowtogarden.com, and there's a link directly below this film at the end.